And we are back, and we have our next guest on deck. We are happy to be talking with Jake, who is a vocalist for the metal band Rivers of Nihil out of the Pennsylvania area. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Hey, how you doing? Glad to be here.
I'm doing good. Now, have you had anybody call you Rivers of Nihil yet?
Yes, it's a common thing. You know, I tell people how you pronounce it is not wrong. You know, you can say Nihil. We pronounce it Nile, but it's whatever the person says. You know what I mean?
Well, you're a lot more gracious than Brody, because when I had him on, he's like, actually, it's Rivers of Nihil. This was a long time ago when you guys first started out, you know. And
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I know it's a common mistake. I knew it by now because he reminded me enough of time. So Jake, okay, so you, Brody, and Adam are all the original members of the band. Your bassist is also the main lyricist. Brody writes most of the music. Now, do you contribute in the writing process as well, or are they like the main ones putting all the compositions together?
They're definitely the main writers.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Although at the same time, we kind of write with everyone in mind, mm-hmm. and it's almost like we know each other on a deeper level. And when we're writing things, we kind of see each other as like, I would imagine sometimes we see each other kind of like when we're writing something or when they're writing something, we kind of see each other kind of like, what would this person think, or what would this person do, or what does this person like, in terms of like where the direction is already going with the album. So yeah, it's definitely a Biggs and Birdie thing, especially with this new record. But I think at the same time, we're kind of all kind of intuitively connected in a way that like allows us to be a part of the creative process. You know?
So when you're presented with a song, how do you convey these thoughts in both a musical way as well as an emotional way? Because a lot of these lyrics that you're presented with are pretty emotional. And now you know, I mean, when we watch you on stage, we think this is coming from your whole life story and from your heart and everything else. You do such a great job on stage. But how do you convey their thoughts like that to make it sound like this is like your whole story?
That's a good question. I actually haven't been asked that yet.
Good.
You know, I'm really, you know, this is kind of correlated with like how I am as an individual, you know, and I feel things. I'm a very feeling based person because hearing isn't my best thing. I'm hard of hearing. Mm-hmm. But so when I'm given the lyrics and, you know, I'm given the theme and I understand what's going on, I don't try to create a atmosphere of how I should be, but I let it just come out naturally. So when I'm reciting the words, you know, the way my body, the way my, you know, my emotions are kind of triggered with each key word, each lyric, I allow that to express itself through me, and I'm kind of just channeling what is being said, you know, without that sounding too weird or anything. But that, you know, as someone who doesn't write most of the lyrics, in order for me to actually own them, right, and make them something that people can feel, instead of it just feeling like someone's telling a story or someone's just reading a script, and it seems very like monotone, you know, there's not a lot of emotion thrown into it. I do take into account like what the songs are about, but I also leave that out. Mm-hmm. I leave that out because it's important for me to find my own way to bring these songs alive when I'm performing them, and you know, you know, I try to protect myself a lot too, you know, like, because sometimes when you're reading lyrics, you're like, well, is this about me, or is this, you know, about the person who's writing it, you know, or,
right.
You know, and it could be both ways. It could be both ways. So I try to be very mindful but also very intact and incorporated with, the creativity behind things,
And well, you guys have a new album out on Metal Blade Records called The Work. So I understand this album was a long process to make. How long was this album in the works, so to speak, from like writing to actually getting it all recorded?
Well, the way we write is very compartmentalized, but we Brody, like we were saying, like Brody wrote all of the music, and the way it's written though, it's like he writes a rough draft of an outline of the song, the first take, shares it with us, we give feedback. So through our feedback and us talking about it, like kind of like molding an idea around what has already been set in stone, we work with those ideas and we try to crop the best thing that we are all kind of pointing towards, but yet still, Brody doing what he does best in his own way, allowing him to create it, 100%. It's a interesting process. A lot of us, I would say I've always had faith in what they write. If there's something I don't like, I'll just say, I'll just tell them. But a big part of me has evolved to a point where, like, I trust them enough, and I know that their musical articulation that they are trying to proceed may not be fully formed yet. And with the rough draft of the album, in creation, specifically talking about The Work. So we take it step by step. It's a gradual process. It's not something that's, pumped out right away. But we build upon each other's validation, and we build upon each other's, credibility of what is being created,
And it came out damn good, I would have to say.
Thank you.
So with additions like field recordings that you guys did and like some saxophone on this one as well, what is the atmosphere of this album like?
Well, I could describe it best by associating the theme, which is winter. I think, the atmosphere holds the essence to what the album theme is pertaining to. So the atmosphere is holding a certain setting, which is trying to articulate a soundscape that would resemble, this particular season, which is winter. Mm-hmm. The atmosphere, if you're speaking about the music, obviously, it's heavily influenced by bands that we grew up on. A lot of different music, a lot of classic rock. Pink Floyd is a very obvious contributor to the sound that we kind of have been inspired by and took it in our own way and kind of recreated what we would like to have in our music.
Did you guys pick winter as the theme?
Well, because the past previous albums are a season. Mm-hmm. So before we wrote any of these albums, we agreed that we were going to do a 4-album cycle that is under the umbrella theme of each season. Ah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it kind of gives us as a creative a vast landscape, mm-hmm. literally, mm-hmm. so to speak, to pull concepts from, because so much of each of the seasons is deeply associated with so many things based upon interpretation that could be translated in a relatable sense, mm-hmm. and winter is the last aspect of the seasons that come, Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we landed with that.
Now, do you do the clean and the growly vocals on this?
No, no, I am just, I no, I do the screaming, and I do like a lot of the talking vocals, a lot of the like the voice kind of like I'm not really singing, but I'm like speaking in a seance kind of way. Yeah, that's really my strong niche. That's really my strong niche. Biggs and Jared, I let they take care of the singing. Those guys are nailing it hardcore.
So okay, so your band is embarking on a tour starting September 3rd in Chicago and wrapping up the middle of October in New York. So are you guys all excited for that?
Very excited. Very excited for many reasons. We're excited, to be back on the road. We're excited to be with really, really awesome bands and friends of ours that we have longed to share the stage with and have shared the stage with before. We're really excited to celebrate music. Celebrate music, and that is really, I think, at the core, that what the story is about for all of us. Of course, the story is the release of our album, but keeping in mind what makes the release of an album worthwhile and what it does is recognizing and celebrating this music, because with the way things are going in the world, it's sad to say, but we don't know how long this may last, and I hope it lasts forever. I really do. I really do. Otherwise I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. You have to find another job. You know what I mean? Find another skill in life. But yeah, this story's gonna be great, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I know the whole band is, and I really look forward to seeing a lot of these people that I haven't seen in a long time.
And I think the feeling is likewise. A lot of people are excited to get out there to see a show, and they're also excited to get out there to hear the new album live with you guys. And Jake, I just want to thank you for popping in today to talk a little bit about the new album, and have fun on tour, and all the best to you and the band.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to maybe talking to you in the future and seeing you at a show.